Y'all come on up in here, man. What's going on? What's going on? Top Flight TV here. Mr. Top Flight Films. Y'all make sure y'all hit the subscribe button when you come in here. Hit the like button. Make sure you follow my Instagram too. Top Flight _ TV or Top Flight _ official. Big shout out to everybody that was in the building yesterday. We had a great conversation. Where am I looking at? This I'm shooting horizontal. I don't know where the hell I'm looking at. Anyway, we gotta chop it up real quick, man. We gotta put some things on the table, respectfully. And this is not a diss video. This is not a, to go at my brother Tariq Nasheed, man. This is just my opinion, and this is my experience at the end of the day. Tariq Nasheed, the big homie. That's the big homie. Don't get it twisted. He did a live stream about Big Meech, the LeBron James, welcome home, Big Meech. And Tariq Nasheed did a live stream, basically talking about the street life and how the street life has been a necessary part of black society. And I don't want to, put words in my brother's mouth. I don't want to misquote him. So I'm trying to choose my words wisely. But Tariq was talking about how there needs to be a balance in the street, or there has been a balance in the street, how some of the street figures have actually helped the community. And what his premise was, and I don't want to get it twisted because some people got it twisted. He was not condoning any form of drug dealing. I'm gonna just say the word. He wasn't condoning drug dealing directly. He was basically saying that he's not going to wag his finger at the hustlers and people in the street life, and I agree with that. I agree with the fact that some people got out there and did what they had to do. I totally agree with that. I'm going to share some of my experience. I'm going to share what I've seen. I'm going to share some of the knowledge that I have. There was a lot of things said in that video and some of the other videos that he did. And it's a lot to cover, so it might be a part 2. But I feel like this is a great conversation. I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had. And we're going to talk about it. So, Tariq Nasheed, man, he was basically saying that, some of these hustlers are some sort of protection. There's some level of protection with the hustlers. That some of the hustlers and street guys, they give back to the community. They take care of certain necessities around the community. You dig? And I agree. That has been my experience. I'm going to tell you why. My career was started. My homie, he bought my first camera. He bought me my first camera. He was a hustler. And ever since I was a kid, he's always been a hustler. And, I dabbled. I ain't going to say I dabbled, but we sold crack, dog. Let's just keep it real. We sold crack. I mean, we ain't gonna beat around the bush. As a kid, in my neighborhood, it was like a trade. It was like a way to get money. I didn't have to sell drugs, okay? My family was not rich. We weren't poor. As a kid, I wanted things in the neighborhood. I wanted some shoes. I wanted to smoke some tree. I wanted to have extra money. And we had plenty of smokers in my neighborhood. And as we would be outside, a lot of smokers would be out there, and some would even ask me. And I remember being asked all the time, "You got anything?" And this is when I didn't have anything. And they'd be like, "You got anything? You got anything?" And finally, I broke down like, you know what? I'm going to get something. I'm not going to turn these dudes away no more. You know what I'm saying? It's money on the table right now. So that's how I was introduced to doing that, and it was a regular practice in my neighborhood. And you know, whether it was the white stuff or the green stuff or other stuff, that's just what we did. And my homie has been there for me basically all my life, and he always would put money in my pocket. He would always give me work if I wanted and needed. He was very, he was like a big brother type of figure. So I'm no stranger. You understand? I feel like there was a lot of dismissive talk, like only squares believe that the drug dealers are a bad thing. Only squares. So I'm coming from a place to where as though I'm not. I'm a square now. I love my square life, but I haven't always been a square. So when I got older and changed my life, my homie came up to where I live at now, and he saw what I was doing. He saw I had potential, and he bought me my first camera. So when Tariq talks about some of the hustlers investing into some of the squares, he's absolutely right. But as a square now, I still know, and I knew then, I knew back then that this investment wasn't just for me. This investment wasn't totally a selfless act. All right, I'm gonna tie all this in to the conversation. I knew my man, he wanted to see me shine. He wanted to see me grow. He wanted to see me do great big things. I know that he did. And when he first offered me the camera, I told him no. And I told him no because I don't like taking handouts. I don't like taking anything from people. I like to purchase whatever it is that I'm gonna have in my possession. Because I don't want to owe anybody. I told him no because I didn't want to be in debt. You understand? Even though it was a selfless act, or it seemed to be I knew, but there's a debt that comes with that. So finally, I ended up taking the camera, and we went and bought the camera. Not too long after we bought the camera, my homie, he caught a lot of time. He caught about 20 something years. He's still in there. This was in 2014, y'all. But he's still in prison. And for the past, since he's been there, I've been helping with commissary. I've been helping with commissary. So what I'm saying to you is, drug dealers are very smart people, but they're very selfish people. And I'm not saying selfish as in a bad thing. They'll give you some shit, okay? But they'll give you something knowing that if I'm ever in need, right? If I'm ever in need, that I put a pawn in the game, that I put a chess piece over here to where so I can cover my ass. You understand? So I look, there's nothing wrong with that. Fair exchange is not a crime. I get that. But when we talk about what the hustlers have done in these communities and what they're doing in these major cities, and we're talking about toy drives, we're talking about turkey drives, backpacks, stuff for school. Let's take Big Meech for instance. Say Big Meech did an annual toy drive and he gave out toys to the kids. What is the balance in that? Hundreds and hundreds of kilos to black communities all around the country. Toys, turkey, backpacks. Hell, let's say they put somebody in school and pay their tuition. One or two, three, four, five people get their tuition paid. Hundreds and thousands of kilos throughout these black cities. Break down the kilos. Where do the packages go? What is the impact of these packages on every street? How many people died fighting over these blocks? How many people died getting backdoored from their friend because somebody had too much money? How many people went to prison? How many fathers, mothers went to prison? How many people got hooked on the drugs? But you gave out turkeys. You put a couple people through college. You helped people get a career in music. You bought me a camera. I'm grateful, right? Let's not talk about the overdoses. So we're going to put drugs in the neighborhood, get people's mothers and fathers hooked on the drugs, or I'm not going to say that they got them hooked. But what I'm going to say is we supply them. We fuel their addiction. And then we give the kids of the parents that we help fuel their addiction, we give them toys and turkeys and backpacks because the mother and them are strung out. Make that shit make sense, man. I believe what Brother Tariq was talking about, and I agree with him when it comes to a long time ago. A long time ago, things were different, okay? A long time ago, there were protectors. A long time ago, there were providers. A long time ago, there was a different aspect to the game. That is not the case in 2020-2024. That hasn't been the case in a long time. I'm not sure if my brother's 100% in tune with what's going on out here, because it's a whole different ball game out here. It's not about helping anybody. Yeah, sure, some people might get some benefits, but at the end of the day, there's more killing and drilling going on than anything. So let's talk about the LeBron thing. And I touched on it the other day. So when LeBron welcomes Meech home, when a lot of the world welcome Meech home, a lot of people are puzzled. A lot of the black community are puzzled. A lot of the black community that has watched the destruction, that are on ground zero, that are watching the destruction, that drugs, the lifestyle, some of the culture has obliterated a lot of the children, mothers, and fathers. We're like, what the fuck? Like, welcome home, Big Meech. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people was like, whoa, cuz, like, who, like, what we doing, man? Like, you understand? So I was one of those people, like, I'm not mad that cuz is home. Good for him, he's home. But the question we gotta ask ourselves, somebody used Tookie Williams as a example. Tookie, while he was incarcerated, he did good things to show that he's a changed man. Big Meech didn't do none of that. Big Meech didn't send any messages home telling people to stop using, stop selling, change your life. Big Meech carried his image and legacy till this day. Big Meech did not send any messages out to the public, out to the kids to say, you know what? I just caught a 30-year bid. I want to change my life. I don't want to see nobody else go down this path. No. Big Meech rode that wave. Big Meech took his persona. He posted pictures of him in the feds. looking swole, doing this, not denouncing the street life. And the thing is, he doesn't have to. I'm not trying to say he has to do that. Um, he can do what he wants to do as a man. But what we not going to do is we not going to act like we are not going to act like that was a redemption story. That Big Meech story is not a redemption story. Redemption is when you do something, you fall, and then you get back up with a testimony. Until he gives that testimony, we can't grant him a redemption story. The last we seen of Big Meech this week was him with a big old BMF chain getting his nails done. That's the last. We just saw this yesterday. He's in the halfway house getting his nails painted with a big chain. He's on the phone being Big Meech. The signal goes out that shit, I can be the biggest kingpin, do some time, come home and still be this glorified gangster. And that's cool for everybody who's willing to suffer those consequences. Because right now there are people out there that are inspired. There are people inspired by what they just saw. You understand? We prop Big Meech up to the forefront. LeBron James prop Big Meech up to the forefront as something worthy of being held. How many kids follow LeBron James? How many children? See, the comparison that we're making with LeBron James and the kids is not far-fetched at all. It's not a reach. How many kids look up to LeBron James? How many schools does LeBron James open? And now you telling this major kingpin who has not denounced the street life. That's where the problem comes in at. If he denounced the street life and put a positive message out there, we would have I would have nothing to say about LeBron James welcoming him home. But he's continuing his story. We got to get to the music because brother Tariq talked about the music and I totally disagree with my brother, man. I totally disagree with my brother. I'm on ground zero. I shoot music videos. I shoot music videos from West Virginia to Maryland to DC, Baltimore, and I've been many places out of state. I'm on ground zero, okay? I'm talking to these youngins. I'm a product of the music. Yes, when people were back in the 60s, 70s, 80s in LA, Texas Bama, what up? Back in the day, even still probably to this day, and on the West Coast, they were playing slow songs. Of course, okay, cool. They were playing slow songs when they did drive-bys. When nobody's disputing that. But that's not what we're talking about when we say the music is influential. That is not what we're talking about. We are talking about when Chief Keef comes out to the public. I watched it with my own eyes. Nobody can tell me. I debate anybody on this because I watched it with my own eyes. Chief Keef hits the scene. The drilling and killing went through the roof. I dare somebody to tell me that I'm lying. Extended clips became like Jordans. The 30 clip became like a new accessory in all these little towns and cities because of the music. Not just the music. See, when we say the music, we talking about the music, we're talking about the visuals, we're talking about the whole package. The package that the big establishment, the package that the big establishment funded. They took somebody such as Chief Keef, and shout out to him. I'm not, I'm happy he made a way for his family. Cool. That's cool. But the destruction that came behind that, you mean to tell me when Chief Keef got that $6 million from the record label and he's in his mansion and he's showing off his guns and he's rapping and he's talking about drilling and he's talking about the dead ops. You mean to tell me the people in DC, Baltimore, the little kids didn't look up to that? You mean to tell me they just saw that, heard that, and said, nah. No. Let me tell you, when I was a kid, when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I would go to school and I would put my headphones on and I would smoke trees all day. And I would have the music in my ear all day. And I'm smoking and I'm listening and it's just playing. Even when I'm not listening, the music is playing. You mean to tell me words and music isn't a form of spirit? It's not a spirit form? You mean to tell me affirmations aren't real? You mean to tell me when you walk into the church and they singing that gospel, you don't get all emotional and upset and you want to shed a tear? You mean to tell me when you go to the gym and you cut on that music to work out to, it don't get you pumped up? So as a kid with an undeveloped brain, I'm listening to this music. I'm not doing it on purpose, but subconsciously, when I hear kill that N-word, sell that coke, F that B, it's getting in my spirit subconsciously. This is all I'm hearing all day, every day. And then my homies, they're hearing the same thing. So when we talking about stuff, we talking about all this derogatory stuff. We're not speaking life into each other. We're speaking degeneracy into each other. Yeah, we seen things when we got home off the bus. We seen the smokers. You dig? We seen certain things that took place in our real reality. But the music and the culture and the image, when we was in school and the little girls started liking, they no longer was liking the R&B cats. Okay, middle school, they was Jodeci was the thing to be. The girls like Jodeci, right? In my era, when I was in middle school, it wasn't about no trapping. It wasn't about no gangster shit. It was about R&B. Okay? It was about Jodeci, Shy, who else, man? I mean, it was about relationships and being a pretty boy. And then what happens? Snoop Dogg comes out. Dr. Dre, gangster rap, takes over. Now there's another element. And we see the girls, they like bad boy shit. Okay? We get to high school. The girls are attracted to a certain image. Right? I'm trying to tell you what's going on in these streets. I don't want to talk. I don't want nobody to tell me about streets, dog. I'm trying to tell you what's going on in these streets with these adolescents, because I'm right next to them and I work with them very closely. And even as a grown man, I have some level of responsibility to speak out and say, I don't preach to anybody, but what I try to do is live by example and put my experience out there. The music is absolutely a driving force. I'm not saying it's 100% responsible. I'm not saying it's responsible for what's going on out here. But do you understand what drill music has done to the culture? Do you understand that spinning the block is a cool thing? Getting points on the board is a cool thing. You know what points on the board is? A lot of y'all don't, let's talk about square shit. A lot of y'all don't even know what points on the board is, right? And I'm a square. All right, I'm a square. Points on the board is dead bodies. Where did they get this from? You got people in DC and Baltimore doing shit from Chicago, doing Chicago shit. How do they know what's going on in Chicago? The music. They're using the same lingo. They're shooting the same guns. They're wearing the same ski mask. Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about? My brother Tariq was saying stuff that is from yesteryear. It's from yesteryear. That shit does not exist today. For real. It really doesn't exist today. Listen, I will have from time to time, let's say the pandemic. The pandemic, I had the OGs, the big homies. They were paying for all the little homies videos. So I would go around and they were paying for the little homies videos. You understand? And did they want to see them succeed? Absolutely. But was it something in it for them? Absolutely. It was something in it for them too. It was an image. It was a look. It was a possibility that we can get about our situation. It was a lot said on these videos. It was a lot said, and I went to the comment section, and a lot of people disagree. And you got somebody even said something about the NOI being street business. The NOI selling Final Call is the streets. That's not the streets, dog. The streets are people that are expected to live by street rules and codes. The NOI selling the Final Call and bean pies, they're not expected to live by street rules. You understand? We got to stop playing. We got to stop kidding ourselves, man. We got to keep it real. We got to keep it real. And my brother, listen, he has his opinion. He feels the way he feels, no problem. I still respect that brother. I just totally disagree. You dig? I totally disagree. And I'm here. I'm watching a 16, 17-year-old throw his fucking life away because he done unalive somebody. Because he has an image. He has an image to uphold. So when he gets into that argument, that 17-year-old gets into that argument with that 40-year-old man or that 25-year-old man, and they grab a strap and they unalive him and they got to go sit in prison for life. That's a direct result. That is a direct result of rap culture. I'm telling you because I'm standing right next to it. I see it. I've seen it many times. When that 19-year-old thinks he has to carry his strap around, he's not even beefing with nobody. He don't even have no problems in the street, but he's running around with his little firearm and he's playing with it and he unalives himself. These are people that I'm working with, man, that breaks my fucking heart, man. Like, come on, y'all. Like, I'm sitting here watching the shit. So when I hear people talking about it's not the music, no, it is. It's, again, when we say music, we're talking about music, we're talking about image, we're talking about the whole package. If Chief Keef can get $6 million for carrying a 30 clip and talking about unaliving his enemies, what makes you think the kids over here aren't feeling incentivized? Well, if he did it, shit, that's what I need to be doing. He got rewarded for it. That's what I need to be doing it. In the midst of all that, they still have to live a real life. In the midst of all that, they're running around with their 30. So when they get into a regular altercation that me and you used to duke it out, they're going to pull out that 30, and now they got the switch. So they're going to let 1,000 rounds go in 10 seconds because they heard about the switch from where? Where'd the boy in Maryland hear about the switch from? Where'd the boy in Hagerstown, Maryland hear about a switch from? Where'd the boy in PG County hear about a Glock switch from? Where'd he hear about it from? It was in the music. Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about? Listen, I understand that the underworld is a part of the black community. It's a part of all communities. There's an underworld, an underclass. There's illegal activity in every community. I get it. I totally understand. But there is absolutely zero justification. You can't justify it. You just can't do it. A kingpin if we took what Big Meech was responsible for, his packages, if we could track each package to each city and see what went on with each bag, do you know how great the destruction would tally up to? Think about that. How many court cases? How many funerals? How many hospital visits? How many fatherless and motherless children? Big Meech didn't do that because he had to do it. I'm going to say it again. Did y'all even watch the show? I didn't watch BMF show. I've not seen one episode, but I've seen little clips online. Big Meech had a mother and father. Big Meech had a household. He didn't have to do that shit. And I'm not mad at him for doing it. I understand because I did it. I had a mother and father. But I wanted extra money. And we're going to get real deep today. Fuck it. We're going to get deep. And we're going to keep it real, man. We're going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real today. And this is just from my experience, from what I've seen, what I've witnessed. It is uncool to have a job in our culture. It is uncool to have a job in our culture. We made it uncool to have a job. You know what we call them? Working niggas. That's what we used to call them. Oh, that's a working nigga. Beanie Siegel said it in his rhyme. And you never was a thug. You was a working nigga. This is what we put out to our culture. Therefore, now you got 15 dudes in the neighborhood. 3 of them actually have a package. The other 6 is standing around waiting to smoke some weed or drink out somebody's bottle. Waiting for the other 2 or 3 to put some plans in motion for the day. A lot of people in the culture don't want to work. A lot of people, not black culture, in street culture, let's say that. A lot of people in street culture just don't want to work. I don't care who gets mad about that. I'ma just keep it real. After growing up, being able to come out the house, and I didn't strive to be a big kingpin. Again, I wanted a hotel for the night. I wanted to get some shoes. I wanted to get a new fitted hat. I wanted to get some jeans. I wanted to get a big bag of grass. Okay, this is what I aspired to do. I didn't aspire to be Big Meech, but growing up, getting money so quickly, starting early, getting money, being able to obtain money, and it still affects me to this day. And I'm gonna break it down how in a minute. Being able to obtain money so quickly. By the time I'm 18 years old, why in the fuck do I want to go work for somebody else to make in a week what I can make in a day? Let me say this. Most 99% of drug dealers aren't doing it out of necessity. They're doing it out of addiction. It's an addiction. They're addicted to the money. They're addicted to the lifestyle. They're addicted to the hustle, to the thrill. They're addicted to the women. They're addicted to that lifestyle as a whole. 99%, if not more. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 99. Somebody stop me when I'm lying. Listen, that is let me say this, man. Some magical drug dealer that is supposedly looking out for the community, that's a guardian over the neighborhood, that has two sides to it. Neither one of them are good. Because you can't do a lot of bad and a little bit of good. It doesn't work that way. You can't do a lot of bad and a little bit of good. You cannot do that. You can't sell coke to the neighborhood parents. You cannot sell coke to the neighborhood parents and then be praised for getting their kids some Jordans because they spent the money with you on coke. How does that work? I'm mad that my brother even tried to even have this conversation. We should be past this shit at this point. We should be past this shit at this point. We should be past this street shit at this point. You dig? It should be over for the street shit. Early on, not in my era, but I do understand. Back in the day, my brother is 1,000% correct, but that was back in the day. That shit ain't been like that in a long time. It's been a long time since those days were around. You understand? This thing is self-centered. Street life, street culture is all about self. Your best friend will kill you. Look at Alpo Martinez. Look at all the major figures. If you want to know how this shit really worked, let's look at all the kingpins that came through here. Either they told on their friends or they were killed by their friends. We can look at the fruit of what they brought. Where are the fucking institutions? Oh, you mean to tell me Big Meech spent $150,000 a night? I'm sorry for yelling, y'all. We not gonna play no games no more. Listen, man, listen. There is no justification. My man spent they'll tell you, and they brag about it to this day, $150,000 a night on Cristal, throwing ones on strippers, giving all the money to the foreign car companies, rental car companies, dealerships, hotels, Gucci, Louis, Nike, mansions. You mean to tell me it's not one institution? It's not one nothing? They didn't build shit? Come on, cuz. They didn't build nothing? All that fucking money? All that money, dog? We can't justify this, dog. There is no justification. I want you to look at this. Meech on a video, he said, man, there'll never be a crew like this, man. Not black at least. He said, shit, you come around, shit, we might even end up paying for your kids' private school. We supposed to salute that. How many parents in each state in America where his packages ended up, how many parents ended up strung out, dead, locked up? But if he pays a couple people's tuition, that's supposed to be worthy of praise? You gotta be kidding me, man. To even entertain that shit. It's great entertainment, dog. Listen, when I first saw Big Meech, it was a very explosive. It was like, what the fuck? What is this shit? Like, these niggas lost their damn mind. I'm like, man, what? These niggas lost their damn mind, dog. Look at all these cars, all these houses. Why is he talking like that on camera? What is wrong with this nigga? Forgive me for cussing so much today, but I'm passionate about this topic. And then I saw him in the club with the crystal and they was dancing and gold chains and big long ass t-shirts. And I'm like, okay. But as you grow up, dog, as you become a man, as you have children, as you have a family, you stop and you look at that shit and you say to yourself, that shit is not cool. That shit is not cool. It's just not. It's not a redemption story, homie. It's not a redemption story. My man is going to ride. My man is going to ride this old, and I'm not mad at him for that. Let me tell you this. Some drug dealers are stone cold drug dealers, and they'll tell you, this is who I am. This is who I will be. I don't regret nothing. I don't care what your children do. This is what it is. This is what I'm living on. This is what I'm standing on. And I'm not mad at them for that. But we cannot praise them. We cannot praise them. The hustlers that I talk to that are behind that wall, that haven't seen a day of light in 15 goddamn years, you know what they tell me? They say, damn, I fucked my life up. There's nothing glorious about this shit. There's nothing. There is absolutely nothing glamorous about that. Having a run for 2 to 3, 5 years and then spending the next 20 in a goddamn jail cell.